Morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Welcome to the Full 100. Today is Thursday, the 3rd of July. I have to keep checking the date myself just to remind myself the days are flying so quickly and all the days are sort of merging into one. Guys, welcome to the show today. I've got a fantastic update again for you guys. I have to, it is a duty to keep informing you guys for two reasons. Those of you who think this is going to fail, so I'm not going to jump on it, deep down in your hearts, you're actually wishing that it fails so you can justify why you stayed home. So for those people, brilliant updates are coming for you to show you how wrong you are. And for the rest of you who are actually fighting and out there pushing it, the updates is also for you so you know that your efforts are not in vain. So without further ado, guys, let's get to it. So guys, the first update I'm bringing you guys is from the USA, okay? And it's to do with, now, many of you know about the Civil War, obviously. Now, if America had split up in that Civil War, obviously Washington, D.C. was already the capital and the White House, where the White House was. If the other side had won the war, the capital of America, so if the other side had won the war, all of America would have been won. However, all of America would have been slave territory, which they was fighting to keep slavery, obviously. But the capital of America would have became the state of Virginia. But more importantly, White House, the new White House would have been in Richmond, Virginia, which is the state capital of Virginia. So it is a momentous shift, as momentous as yesterday's story with the Belgian royal family. But the state of Virginia has all, if not, well, majority of their statues. So take a look at what happened in Virginia. Guys, this is as big as Mississippi taking down as the last remaining state with the Confederate flag on their flag. It's as momentous as that. It is as momentous as the Belgian royal family, the first European royal family to apologize for slavery. Take a look, guys.
Once was the capital of the Confederacy, has begun taking down many of its Confederate monuments after the city's mayor ordered their immediate removal. Crowds gathered in Richmond, Virginia to watch and cheer as a crane and a cherry picker removed the statue of Confederate General and slave owner Stonewall Jackson. The monument had been standing for more than 100 years. The mayor said, quote, "We have needed to turn this page for decades, and today we will."
That is momentous. And honestly, when I keep saying to people 4 or 5 weeks ago that I knew this was different, I knew this was different. I felt in my blood and I felt in my DNA. It's still the beginnings. It's the beginnings. But you know what? As every pillar falls, another one's gonna fall, another one's gonna fall, and another one's gonna fall. Belgian royal family is the first. I'm telling you right now, they will not be the last. They won't be the last. So guys, that's fabulous news. Now, our friend Trump's been crying. He's sulking. Yesterday, he put a tweet out saying last man standing. Not sure if he meant he's the last racist around him standing, because his guys are saying, no, you know what, we was on it with you, but we got to move on. Come on, we got to move on. So I don't know if he meant last man standing in terms of that, or if he meant last man standing in terms of masks, because while he's politicized masks, people have been dying. Now, yesterday, for the first time, Mike Pence, his vice president, is now wearing masks. His Republicans are making speeches to wear masks. Fox News the same, they call this virus a hoax. Now they're advising masks, but they weren't advising masks 2, 3 weeks and a week ago when Trump was still on a no mask thing, that you're weak if you're wearing a mask. So they followed suit. Can I say something, guys? Wouldn't it be fabulous, fantastic, if we solved the racism issue, not under the watch of Obama, which is what you'd expect, but under the watch of the most hated, the most hateful, and the most racist president any of us have ever seen, literally probably in the last 200 years. Wouldn't that be a fabulous result? Take a look at this video, guys.
US President Donald Trump is attacking the Black Lives Matter movement after continued resistance to condemn white nationalism. On Wednesday, the president called Black Lives Matter a symbol of hate in response to New York's decision to paint the phrase on the street in front of Trump Tower. The White House press secretary suggested the movement and the phrase are two separate things.
He's talking about the organization. We agree, all Black Lives Matter with that sentiment, but we will not stand with an organization that exhibits that kind of hate against our police officers.
Earlier, the New York City Council had approved $1 billion worth of budget cuts to the NYPD.
Our young people need to be reached. They don't need to be policed. Not only $1 billion you're talking about, another $500 million beyond that to create recreation centers, places young people can go that are positive, to create broadband access for young people in public housing. We've got to do a lot of things differently if we're going to change the reality for so many of our young people in this society. And one of the places we were able to find that money was in our police budget.
The plan to paint Black Lives Matter on Fifth Avenue will come soon, and it'll be the second time the words appear in front of one of the president's homes, the first being in front of the White House.
Welcome back, guys. See, when there's a mayor called the mayor of Washington DC, which is where the White House is a black girl, stunningly smart. I'm not talking about her beauty, stunningly smart, right? Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is her name. She was the first one about 3.5 weeks ago now, I think, that wrote Black Lives Matter on the same road, the only road to the White House. It was so big you could see from outer space, from the space station. And I told you guys about this when it first happened. So it's emblazoned. Trump cannot miss it. As much as he just absolutely hates Black Lives Matter, every time he looks out of his window, from wherever he looks at, he sees Black Lives Matter. When Air Force One's when Marine One, the helicopter's taking off, he can see it. When he's driving to and from the White House, he can see it. Now, Mayor de Blasio, who's the mayor of New York City, is going to do the same thing on Fifth Avenue. Now, Fifth Avenue is the richest street in New York City. But guess what's more important than that? He's doing it right outside Trump Towers. So he's so peeved. He's so peeved. Black Lives Matter to him, that name or that logo or that banner is the same as how we see the Nazi swastika. It's the same as how we see it. To him, it's like the evil thing to see. 2 days ago, an American team reached out to me. A couple of my stuff's been aired in America, a couple of interviews I've done, and also my petition and my ideas. I'm on a couple of platforms, one with 1.7 million all black Americans and black British as well. I've seen a few of my friends are on there. So I've put my ideas over to Americans quite a bit, and we've communicated outside of the platform by direct messaging. But I got a direct message 2 nights ago saying, are you available to speak tomorrow? Because we're lawyers and there's a few of us and we like a lot of your ideas, but we're worried how your ideas, being that you're from the UK, how that translates to us and our system in the US. And last night we spoke, and a lot of what they were worried about, mainly, and I don't blame them, what they were worried about the most was, we're just worried that the race offenders register will be used against us as black people. I never actually thought of that. But as soon as he said it, I didn't have to think of an answer. You know what my answer was? Race offenders register has to be the one law that's there to protect black people and can never be used against black people. Why? It's a bit like Megan's Law that was set up to protect young kids, girls and boys, from being kidnapped, raped and murdered. It's a bit like if that law was to be turned against the children that it was meant to protect. That should be impossible. So it's on us to make sure that the phrasing of that act or that law, is underwritten by one of the ideas that I don't speak about very much, but it's a no-brainer, which is that we must redefine what racism is. Racism was defined by white folk. Maybe some of them were well-meaning. However, I've never had cancer. So how dare me try to tell a cancer patient that the back pain she's feeling, or he or she's feeling at that precise moment, has nothing to do with cancer. I can't, if someone who's got cancer can be going to me, oh, my back hurts, and I'm sure it's the cancer, I can't, how dare me say to that person, oh no, that might be different, when I've never had cancer in my life. What I'm saying is, the rewriting of what constitutes a racist attack, or what constitutes racism. We have to redefine racism, is what I'm saying. And that redefining of racism should never be down to white folk. Take a look at this video.
Civil rights group says people of colour are 54% more likely to be fined under coronavirus lockdown rules than if they were white. CNN's Nada Bashir takes a look at one such case.
Arrested for doing his job. Youth worker Kasey Rahal was handcuffed after coming to the aid of a distressed black teenager stopped by police. His crime? Officers say Kasey breached lockdown regulations. He believes racial profiling is to blame.
Had I come out of my vehicle and been approached by the police officer and I was white, I probably would not have been treated in that way.
Based at one of the capital's largest social housing estates, Kasey works to support underprivileged teens. The vast majority, he tells me, come from black and ethnic minority communities. Despite identifying himself as a key worker, which would have allowed him to be out during the lockdown, officers issued him with a penalty. With police now refusing to revoke the fine, Kasey plans to take legal action.
We need to show there is a way for us to try and fight these cases, and even if we might not be able to seek full justice, it also serves as a point for our members to feel empowered to fight for their rights and fight for justice.
The incident occurred on the same day that the Prime Minister's senior advisor, Dominic Cummings, took a controversial trip with his quarantining family to Barnard Castle, more than 200 miles away from his London home. No regrets on his part and, unlike Kasey, no penalty. A recent study by civil rights group Liberty has found that people of colour were 54% more likely to be fined under government lockdown regulations. For some experts, this doesn't come as a surprise.
On top of a terrible global pandemic, we're seeing disproportionate and discriminatory policing affecting communities of colour in Britain. And that, in my opinion, is not just a tragedy, it's a public scandal.
Guys, I want to just say this. After seeing that video, those of you who still think that Britain's innocent, okay, the reason I spoke about the law and what the American folk thought first, which I hadn't thought about, is because of that exactly. No law is ever made in the Western world that does not target black people, period, more than the rest, period. 54% already, a brand new law. And already we're targeting 54% more. They're refusing to take back a fine on someone who legally was allowed to be out. They still fined him. Okay? So this law has to be the only law that they can't actually use against us. Otherwise it's useless. And to avoid that is all about the definition that we tell them of what it feels like or what racism is. As you know, Leicester's been locked down. I promised you guys yesterday I'm going to bring you guys a fuller view of it. So without further ado, here is a look at what happened in Leicester. Take a look.
Across much of England this weekend, but the city of Leicester is moving in the other direction due to a surge in new coronavirus cases. CNN's Phil Black is there.
A few days ago, central Leicester was buzzing. People lined up patiently to get inside the shops, but they're desperately missed through lockdown. Now, suddenly, they're locked out again. Once more, the mood here can be eerie, quiet, and yet so familiar.
I feel sad, and I think people I've spoken to are a bit confused and a bit sad as well.
Lockdown fatigue.
Yeah, most definitely.
The government says it didn't want to carve Leicester out from the UK's steadily opening economy, but it had no choice. It's now Britain's first individually locked down city because COVID-19 is still advancing through the population. The government says 10% of all England's recent positive test results were recorded in Leicester. How long do you think you can hold out now that you've been told to close your doors again?
As long as it takes. I think safety and the measures that the government have put are more important.
Leicester is famously diverse, and many are worried about rising infections here because of COVID-19's devastating impact on ethnic minorities. There's evidence everywhere. People are taking the threat seriously in everything they do.
The mixed messaging all provided the conditions that creates the virus to continue in Leicester.
Welcome back, guys. What can I say? I mean, these guys are trying their best. To me, that's a great move. I'm a firm believer because we're not blind. You want to stay blind? That's your call. I'm not staying blind. I can see the countries that did well and what they've done when they've seen a little rise. Yes, you're going to have those people that, like I said yesterday on social media, there's all these people still already saying, they're mugging us off. I'm not a mug for them. I'm not going to listen to them. I say to them, great. You do that, right? The rest of you guys, please pay attention. My town, I got the list here. It even lists Enfield, which is literally about 10 minutes from where I live. If where I live starts to rise in cases, please lock us the hell down. Yes. Okay. I run that list to you guys. You guys can find it online. Okay. It includes many London boroughs, many West London boroughs. Go to my video yesterday with the update on the royal family, the Belgian royal family, to get that full list again. Okay. They are doing the right thing, guys. So guys, listen, I'll see you all tomorrow for my last video of the week. And over the weekend, I'm meeting a few people, and we are now forming an association behind the Race Offenders Register. So stay tuned. From next week, we're going to start pushing some bits which we've only put up, but we haven't actually pushed. So guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Enjoy your evening and have a fantastic day. Bye bye now.